Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bxb'S Bits and Bobs, episode 32. It's been 2 long weeks. I apologize. I didn't do a bonus babble last week. I was too busy playing games. Not going to lie. There have been a lot of games. I was playing a lot of Destiny 2 as well. With me this week, as always, we have reviews editor Richard Worrell and Dog.
And
Is
Dog.
Frank with you?
Oh,
and
yeah,
I can hear him. I can hear him. And Dog.
If you can hear him clattering on the floor.
I can hear his little nails going on your linoleum. Frank's still feeling good, still healthy and in a good way.
Yeah, touch wood, yeah, he's fully recovered so far. He's chirpy as ever, so that's great. And I'm also well, thanks for asking.
Well, you know, Frank's more important, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's not be around the bush here. And we have Home Counties editor Joel.
Yo. That's all I've got. Like, yo, yeah, how's it going? Yo.
Going quite well. You shouldn't complain, Joel. You pissed off to Belgium for like a week to get hammered, from what I can tell.
A long weekend. A long weekend. Went to Bruges. It's a kind of annual trip I have with a few friends of mine.
What did you call yourselves again? Because you told me and you sounded like a group of terrorists.
I can't remember the Jesus.
It's like the Bruges 6 or something.
The Bruges 4. The Bruges 4 is what the chat group we have is titled. Yeah, so we go to Bruges every year, and now we know it so well now that we've just got this. Literally, we go there, we just do the same thing every time we get there. We go to the brewery, we have lunch at the brewery, beer, then we go from the brewery to this what we call the 1,000 beer pub, and and then it goes on. The whole weekend's the same. We go to every time we do go, we try and find one or two new places to sort of stitch onto it, so it increases the length of the bar crawl. But yeah, really good. I love it. We just go and drink Belgian beer, eat loads of chips and Flemish stew and other Belgian sort of delicacies, and yeah, it's great. I love it.
Do you get that thing where you approach a bar and they quickly shut everything up because they recognise that it's you lot again?
No, it's
them. They're going to trash the place. They're always trouble.
They love us. They love us.
Do you have anybody recognise you because you've been back?
Not really. Every time we go back, it's one restaurant we go to where I think they've had the same waiter for like 3 years, but he doesn't recognise us. So he looks like miserable because he's obviously the only one of them that's ever lasted that long. So he's obviously incapable of getting a job anywhere else. So he's got bigger problems, I think.
Oh. I won't ask Richard what you've been up to from the lack of reviews and seeing you online. I can probably guess you've been up to your eyeballs in hellish work.
Please don't mention work. This is my break. I'm pretending I don't have a job for the minute. So,
well, look, I mean, you've got no excuse, Richard. Let's be honest. I've got very busy work, obviously, and I've played all the games, specifically all the sports games, Richard. So, took that bullet for you there, buddy.
That's nice. I don't know. I'm not going to try and belittle your work, but it is probably more routine than mine.
Oh, I don't know. I had to deal with some craziness today, but I won't get into that. There was a little thing called Batman Day, which is we get 3,000 caped crusaders coming to the shop at once. So you try handling that.
Can you even fit 3,000 people in your shop?
Well, that's why it's difficult, Joe. Obviously, you have to really allocate the space in a very sensible manner.
Sounds like some freaky version of Where's Batman. Do you have to guess which one's the real Batman? It's like Where's Batman, but not.
Well, do you know what makes that more difficult? They all stand there going. They all just stand there going. So it makes it really tricky working out when the real one is.
And you're not just tempted to close the shop for the day. Just put a notice up, just like, gone to Gotham or something.
gone to Gotham, be back in 5 minutes. Yeah, but no, I mean, yeah. So games are happening though. This is the time of year. But before we get into games, have you all watched the Punisher trailer on for Netflix's new show?
Yes.
Sorry, I haven't. No.
Jeez, it's 2 minutes of your life, Joel. I put it in the notes a week ago.
I'm so behind on my sort of comic book hero Netflix series that I just feel it's not worth me watching it.
Well, you can skip all the shit ones, which is most of them, and this one genuinely looks good. Like the way it's cut to a Metallica track, It sounds awesome. It looks awesome. The action looks great. It's the fucking Punisher. I mean, the guy playing the Punisher in this, John something, who did the Walking Dead thing. And I've actually seen him recently in the Accountant, which I know Richard's also seen, which we'll talk about shortly. And he's also in another show that HBO is doing, which I've just started, called Not a Hero, and that's on Sky and stuff as well. But he's a really good actor, and I think he could do a good job with the Punisher. And the trailer is awesome. I mean, supposedly the rumor is mid-October for the show, so not long. It seems like the date may have been leaked by a print publication. But yeah, it looked really good, didn't it, Rich? I'm kind of excited for that, even after the Defenders, which was garbage.
It kind of looks good, but yeah, I suppose it's dangerous to get your hopes up too much.
Yeah, I've been burnt now.
Which has been hit and miss.
What are you talking about?
Different iterations. They're not all very good, are they, Punisher?
Wait, hold on. Are you not loving Thomas Jane's Punisher with John Travolta as the bad guy? That's a fantastic movie. His dad is Roy Schneider. His dad, come on. No, that's just me. Okay.
No, that was okay. There was another one, wasn't there?
The Ray Stevenson one, the more recent one, yeah. Ray Stevenson's Punisher. But yeah, that was ruined by really hokey villains. But his actual Frank Castle, I thought, very good. Again, you know, it doesn't take. It's not a hard role, is it? Be sort of like monosyllabic, grunt a lot, get a bit emotional when somebody goes family, and that's kind of it, isn't it? And then shoot people in the face convincingly, which I feel that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Well, this new series seems to have microchip in it, which I was surprised about, which is his famous comic book sidekick, his nerdy kind of hacker friend who always helps him do all the tech stuff. I can't believe they've got him in there. That's crazy, but it should be good.
John Bernthal, by the way, is the guy's name.
Yes, it is. I can always remember the John bit, but I never remember his surname for some reason. He was the best thing about The Walking Dead, actually. Easily. Way better than Andrew Lincoln.
Does that say something about how much you like The Walking Dead nowadays, since he's been done for 5 seasons?
It's not fair to it wouldn't be unfair to say the best season was the first season, really, would it? I mean, like, you know, the fact that it was Frank Darabont as well, and then he left after that first season is brilliant TV, and then it's just slowly gone downhill since then. But you know, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it now. But so you saw The Accountant as well, Richard? I watched it last night.
Did you? What did you think of it?
I bloody loved it. It wasn't what I expected at all. I was expecting it to be like slightly washed up action star does John Wick.
Yes. Like
John Wick was John Wick, like Denzel did The Equalizer, you know, that kind of stuff. But it was actually a lot smarter, a lot smaller, a lot more personal, and some seriously amazing performances. Like J.K. Simmons kills it. Anna Kendrick's barely in it, but she's always adorable. And Ben Affleck's portrayal of a nondescript mentally handicapped person. We don't actually get told. At one point he does say what's wrong with him, doesn't he? Actually, in the hotel. Now I remember. Yeah. But no, he's fantastic.
Spectrum, isn't he? But
yeah.
It just felt to me like this is his Batman performance, but with an excuse for it.
No, it felt to me like this is his Batman performance, but not shit. I guess to be. I mean, like, it was way more nuanced than his Batman. It was like, this is some acting actually happening here. This isn't some sort of shitty kind of stereotype or cliche. This is somebody doing something different with this genre. And I actually, again, with John Bernthal, the wife turned to me like super early on and went, "He's isn't he?" And I went, "Well, yeah, obviously." And then they kind of drew out that revelation a bit too long, but then that actual scene when they finally come together, I was like, do you know what? That wasn't stupid. It's like they didn't try to kill each other. It was like, that's what that relationship would be like at that point. And I was like really impressed with it.
It was kind of a bit too obvious to the point that I overshot on that and thought, J.K. Simmons is the dad.
Oh, you went too far. Yeah. You went way too. You did that into next week there. Woo! I do like the bit when J.K. Simmons sits down with agent chick and then just sort of explains everything for 10 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, they decided this film was kind of confusing. Yeah, you're kind of right. You made this, you maybe obfuscated the plot a little bit too much at this point, and let's just spell it all out for everybody. However, I did enjoy it. I really liked it. I like the fact that the relationship he had with Anna Kendrick wasn't like the obvious sort of Hollywood romance plot where they fall into bed together and it was much more subtle. and in keeping with the characters, I thought, and the situation. I just
more
thought it
true
was
to how he would probably be with the
and how she would be.
This
dude who just John Wicked up in your bathroom. You're not going to fall into bed with him, are you? I mean, it's like you're going to be kind of weirded out. And she plays it really well. J.K. Simmons, that scene when he's got the gun to his head, and you just go, "Oh yeah, this motherfucker can act."
Yeah.
Like, he just breaks down like in that single shot, and it's like, "Oh my god, he's good, isn't he?"
It's also funny,
I really enjoyed it.
There was a few laughs in there which you wouldn't really expect from this sort of movie, but yeah.
There was a lot of unexpected stuff in there.
Affleck's, see you next week at near the end of the movie was perfect. I loved that.
There was a lot of good in there. Joel, you should check it out, mate, if you get a chance. It's on Sky.
I don't have Sky.
I thought you had Sky.
I used to leech Sky off my parents, but then like I told them to get rid of it because the cost is just prohibitive for what you get. Really, I think. I know, like you were only 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago promoting Sky heavily on here.
Yeah.
I'm the counter to that. Awesome. It's not worth the money.
No, I think it's totally worth the money. I think it's one of the better sort of all-in packages available in the UK, personally, especially if you're going for Sky Q and you're going 4K, which is what I'm doing at the moment, guys. I'm shopping for a 4K TV, hoping to get one next weekend. Yeah.
Disclaimer: Ben Hall has no concept of money.
Hey, no, I worked hard to get this 4K TV. Thank you very much.
You know, those 3,000 Batmans.
Exactly.
You made a lot of money. You made a lot of money earlier. Lips look dry. I see. I went there. Yeah.
So I have a hostile podcast environment to deal with here. Wow, in that case, I think it's. I'm gonna have to just lay it on thicker here with you guys. It's not very nice. Richard, I did want to ask you though before we went on, because it's on my watch list and I want to get around to it. Is The Mist worth a watch?
Oh, hit and miss. I'm not sure. If you're a fan of the movie, you'll be disappointed by it.
Okay, I am. Yeah.
To what Netflix can sync to, then you'll probably tolerate it. It's one of those. It's very middling. It's kind of
so it's like twice as long as it should be,
but really, there's not much need to see it.
Is it like twice as long as it should be then? That sort of thing.
Yeah, it's got a load of annoying characters that you don't give a fuck about. It's not really anything like the film where it has a sense of wonder about what's in the mist. It's just more focused on the arseholes that are not outside, and you just get annoyed at how much of an arsehole they can be. It's okay.
Well, I mean, it's interesting talking about the film. Obviously, that ties us into Punisher, and it ties us into The Walking Dead, which we were just talking about, Frank Daberon again. And it's one of the greatest twist endings in modern Hollywood, I think. The end of that film, absolutely fantastic. So it doesn't in any way live up to that, which is a bit.
No. It's clearly set up for the long game, though. I've watched the entire first series, and it leaves many threads hanging. So yeah, maybe they're aiming to do that further down the line, but the film does exist. So rather than wait for that to happen, watch the film if you haven't already.
Oh wow! So it's not like it gets to where the film ends or anything and then takes it in another direction. It's still just in a town with mist.
It's still kind of just meandering along. There is some. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's not seen the film, but there are sort of signs that it's going in the same direction, but it does drag it out for probably too long.
I feel like there's not enough concept there. I mean, it's not. It's quite a slight concept to already pad into a TV show.
Well, it is. I mean, I suppose it's true to the form. Like with a lot of what Stephen King does, it's about exploring relationships rather than the horror that they're surrounded by. And it does do that, but I don't think there are very many people in that show that I could honestly say I cared about. So it kind of...
While we're on Stephen King, did anybody go see it? Because I'm way too scared to go and see that in a cinema.
Well, my wife went to see it. I don't know. It's just a remake of the original. I don't think the original was that bad. But she enjoyed it. She said she didn't see much of it because she was hiding behind her hands the whole time.
Yeah, I wouldn't see any of it. So it's like, what was the no point? I'm not going to go see that in cinema.
I wasn't that fussed about it, but thinking back to the episodic was a TV show, wasn't it?
It's a two-part TV show before, and the films are 2 parts as well. So this is only chapter 1. This is just the focuses on the kids. This one.
That's what I was going to say. So in the TV series, the end was abysmal, but I really liked it up until then. So if this doesn't include the terrible TV ending, then I'd be up for watching it. Probably, it might be all right.
I'll stick to Killer Clowns from outer space.
Has anyone read the book though? Surely that ending's in the book.
I haven't read it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So like, I imagine if they're just following the books again, that you'll probably end up with much the same.
I'm not sure it was true to the book, or at least they sort of muffed it if they did try to interpret the book.
So, segue coming up here. Talking of true to another medium, while we stick to the film sort of genre that we're discussing right now, let's also bring it to games and say, who watched that Tomb Raider trailer? And why would you bother to see that film if you played the fucking game? Holy crap!
That is a fair point. So this is a movie based on the reboot of Tomb Raider from Crystal Dynamics. And while I enjoyed that reboot, yeah, you're right. I'm not sure I want to watch a poorly rendered
don't look. Alicia Vikander, Oscar winner. We've got some people on board with this project. It could be a good film. It really could. It looks like it's well made. There's money in there. You can see that. However, like it's like a shot-for-shot adaptation. Like of at least this trailer. Maybe this trailer is just showing you all the bits that are directly lifted from the video game to appeal to the video game audience that he knows is going to be, you know, a lot of its box office. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, because I watched it and just went, wow, they've even got the kind of like painful sound effects of her hitting things and falling and getting hurt that are from the video game. I mean, this is just weird. You know, and I just like, wow, there's the ice climbing axe and the bit where she gets caught by the bad guys and the, you know, the potential rape aspect of that. I'm sure they'll probably not bother with that bit, to be honest. Yeah. They might skip over that. But well, like
my problem with it wasn't that it was just rehashing what's in the game. I mean, often we complain about video game movies that just have virtually nothing to do with the source material.
It's not the opposite. That's what they should be. They shouldn't have anything. The source material already exists. You don't need to adapt that story.
Well, fine, but like, a lot of people do complain about that. If it's not faithful to the game, then why is it based on the franchise? Now, with this one, you say it's well produced and it's got good talent in there. I couldn't see that in the trailer. It didn't look great to me.
I thought there was money on the screen. Like I think you can see there's some money in the CGI, there's some money in the effects. You know, you've got a decent cast, like I said, an Oscar winner. You've got Walter Goggins in there. You've got that dude playing her dad, whose name I can't remember, but has done a bunch of stuff. However, the best bit for me,
so I guess that's okay.
Yeah, I was going to say the best bit for me was right at the end, where there's that direct nod to classic Tomb Raider, where she's buying the gun, the famous pistols she carries, and she's got the hair down. And clearly, that's from the end of the movie, or some kind of like dream sequence or something. Or actually, to be honest, knowing what trailers like now, that might not even be in the movie. But I thought that was the best bit of the trailer. It's like, oh yes, the kitsch kind of reference to the old school Tomb Raider, because the new ones are good games, but the plotting and the story of them did nothing for me. Like they're well made, but I didn't find them interesting. You know, it didn't grab me. I know you're a much bigger fan of them, Richard, but I really didn't engage.
Well, no, I'd agree with you on that. I do really like those games, but as games, story-wise, I couldn't tell you anything about them. I've completely forgotten everything that happens in them.
Well, that's all right, because there's going to be a film to
the first one 3 times. So, yeah.
Only 3? Jesus. What were you doing 3 times?
Different formats, isn't it?
I got bored halfway through the second one, but it's getting a big 4K X update, so I'll probably check it out when it comes out on the X, just to see how pretty it looks, because that game already looked good first time around, so I imagine it's going to look absolutely stunning in 4K with HDR and all that bells and whistles.
I did enjoy that game all the way through. I think I reviewed that, thinking back.
I think you did. I think you gave it a high score. But yeah, so yeah, Joel, you've not really said much here other than I'm guessing you're quiet because you agree.
Played both the games. I watched the trailer. I agree with everything you said. The trailer the whole time I watched the trailer, I was just like, oh yeah, it's just exactly the first game. The only real major difference I could pick out. I think they went to a real effort in the first game to at least make Lara kind of seem very weak and innocent and scared and fearful and stuff. And I didn't quite. She seemed a lot more hardy in the trailer from the off, if you know what I mean, as a character. But that was about the only thing I would highlight that I thought looked slightly different. I think there was enough in the trailer for me that at some point when it comes out on Netflix or something, I'll sit down and probably watch that. It didn't look too bad.
Yeah. What boggles my mind is that why are you taking a third stab at Tomb Raider when there are many other more interesting video games you could be adapting?
I think we already all know the answer to that.
Just the brand recognition and the fact that it's a hot chick.
Hollywood are so risk averse. They rarely ever try anything new these days. They're constantly going back to old ideas and rehashings or sort of. I feel that they've got, when they start some project, they want to at least have some base audience that they can expect will go, or and from at least they've got some history of the Tomb Raider films and attempts. So yeah, they're just so risk averse in Hollywood. So yeah, I agree with you. There are many other games out there that I think they could make fantastic films off, or just films set in the same universes that some of these games establish, but they don't.
It's also a proven film anyway, isn't it? Because it's obviously based on Indiana Jones.
Well, I was just going to say, Richard, just think how exciting, interesting, unique a film adaptation of Uncharted could be.
Yes.
See what I did there?
Harrison Ford.
But they better be quick.
Yeah. So talking about things that it's important that you have like a built-in audience, or an established audience for, kind of connects us to our next news story, which is the Switch. The Nintendo Switch seems to be getting more and more and more, as Joel cracks open another tinny, third-party video game publisher support. As we've just had announced from Bethesda that Wolfenstein: The New Colossus is coming next year. And more importantly, Doom, my game of last year, will be on a handheld motherfucking console. I am hype. I am so hype to rip and tear on my lunch break.
And
it's going to be great.
New Doom, isn't it? Because I've seen people saying, "Oh
no, it's 2016, Doom 2016,
an original Doom," and I'm like, "No, I think it's the new one. It is the new one."
Yeah. And it's been seen running at TGS, I believe, and I've seen some off sort of screen footage of it, shot, running on a Switch. And you know what? It looks like Doom 2016. It looks really good. They're going for a locked 30, which is down from the sort of fluctuating 60 that was on the home console. But it's kind of what you expect on the Switch. But it still looks like it's going to be a damn fine rendition. It's not like, I'd say, like if you had never played Doom, don't maybe get it on the Switch to play as a home console. If you can get it on the Xbox or PS4, do that. It's going to run a bit better. It's going to run smoother. It's going to look a bit better. However, if you're looking to have a handheld version of it, and be able to take it with you, oh goddamn, I'm going to buy that game again, aren't I? Yeah, I'm going to buy that game again.
That's what I'm thinking. It feels like a second purchase kind of thing. I hope it's priced with that in mind as well. Bearing in mind,
and that's coming. There's no. I can't remember if there was a date for this or not, but I know it's pretty soon, like it'll be October or November. And in addition, just today, it got announced our actual Bxb Games Game of the Year for last year, Inside, is also coming to the Nintendo Switch. So get that in more people's hands, damn right. And see, what I was talking about, like Joel was talking about having an existing audience, all this shit is coming because these publishers, they can't ignore how many Switches have been sold.
Yeah.
At this point, they're like, well, we need to get this shit out because we can sell this stuff again, and we can just keep it going. It's great to see the support is starting to come in its droves.
So when I picked apart the announcement, the key bit of really exciting information in that is actually Wolfenstein, because everything else so far, Bethesda have already been supporting it. They've got Skyrim coming, they've got Doom, but Wolfenstein's a new game. It is not a sort of previous piece of IP that they're simply porting over and selling. So that was the one that got me really excited. That's a better indicator of positive third-party support, that they're looking at putting a new game on there. So that's the one I'm really happy about.
It's still not
where you're coming from.
Want, though, probably, because it is.
It's late.
But by the time it comes out, it won't be.
Yeah, it's going to be 6 months from now.
Sure, but it's still it's something, you know, anyone who wants to play the new Colossus and has a Switch and a PC, maybe they know they can wait. They only have to wait 6 months. They know it's coming.
You have to wait 6 months. That's all.
It's not too long.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, that was what I was really excited about, because obviously to this point, sort of a third-party publisher support's mostly been around, like you say, just taking existing games and porting them, which is good. It obviously gets the catalog up and stuff, but we want to see them. We want to see them producing the new games as well and getting them working on there. So
I don't think I want to see publishers and developers taking away dev time from primary development consoles such as PS4 and Xbox One to try and develop at the same time for a Switch release. I'd rather they were 6 months or a year late on those ports, because it's always going to be a lesser product. Sorry, Switch guys, and players, if that's your only home console, but that's just the way it is. It doesn't have the grunt to perform as well as the Xbox One or the PS4. So yeah, I'd rather it was late for you lot. My bad. So to counterpoint Joel there, I'd rather they put their resources into making that PS4 and Xbox One version the best it can be.
I think it's surprisingly more powerful than you think it is. I think
it's not there.
Well, it's definitely less powerful.
One, is it? Yeah,
it's definitely less powerful. But
yeah, certainly is.
The counter to that would be Sony platforms, Microsoft platforms are now both in a space where they're developing for multiple technologies.
But not any of their least most powerful SKUs are as weak as the Switch. There's another step down. So that does require specific dev time and specific resources to create.
A bit. But it's don't forget the screen size is smaller, obviously. So you've got to render a lot less pixels. So you don't have to concentrate on high resolution. You don't necessarily have to support high res when it's docked. I think for the portable nature of the Switch, which is still where I think it excels, and it's where I use it most of the time. Yeah, I think I don't think it will be too bad. Actually, I think they'll be able to take a lot of the new IPs and stuff and get them working quite well. I think the controls might prove a bit more of a sticking point per se, but that's about it really.
So a sticking point is sort of what sometimes developers will talk about when, somebody says to them, why don't you just flick the switch to turn multiplayer on in your game? I mean, that's not hard, is it? You just click a switch and then 24 hours later, multiplayer works for this game. And obviously a developer will normally say, no, there's hours of work, hundreds of hours of work, thousands of man hours, blah, blah, blah. And yet, Epic and Fortnite went, you know what, we want to turn on crossplay. So we're just going to do it. Just to make it work across, so people can play Fortnite on Xbox One and PS4 together, because why not? And they did, and it did work, and it was glorious. And then they said, "Oops, that was a mistake," because Sony complained. We'll turn that off again. Which was, and then the tweet from Phil Spencer was like, "Yeah, that'd be nice. Can we have some more of that, please?"
It was brilliant.
We need the help.
It was really, really cool. This though, because literally it merely was uncovered by the fact that a PlayStation player was playing and realized that he was seeing a player with spaces in their name, which you cannot have on PSN IDs, basically. And so then he went onto PlayStation Network and searched for this guy and couldn't find him. And then after a bit of thinking around and stuff, tried searching for them on Xbox and found the player. And then suddenly realized that, Fortnite obviously was... matchmaking between Xbox and PS4 players, and then obviously from there it spiraled. The news all got out. Epic were like, "Oh yeah, we might have forgot to sort of unplug that specific cable between the two systems." But oh yeah, by the way, technically it's very easy to do. There's no reason why we can't do it. It's just political. And then obviously a few other developers came out at the same time and said, "Oh yeah, crossplay between the two platforms is easy. It would take us less than 3 days to get it working from the technology standpoint. It's just getting past the politics side of it." So
amazing. And it's Sony, and everybody knows it's Sony blocking it, because why do they need to let this happen? They're the number one with the install base. They've got the most consoles out there. Xbox is quite a margin behind. And obviously Phil would love nothing more than this, because it's just it would just help the Xbox platform. There's no denying it. So
on the other foot, though,
fuck you.
I'm pretty sure last generation that there was some
it was
the other way around, and Microsoft blocked it. So you can't really point the finger at Sony.
Yeah, it's
no. What you can
this generation. Sorry, but Microsoft are being just just as bad as they
I
were.
understand why. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're looking to play online with your mates and you know you've got to buy the console that they're on, then Sony are going to protect their wedge of the business, aren't they? And say, well,
Yeah.
if you want to play with people on PlayStation, you're going to have to get with PlayStation, rather than risk them slipping in their lead and saying, well, buy whatever you want, doesn't matter. They're not going to do that.
I think it's
the other side of the wedge for Microsoft. There's an obvious benefit to them in that people can buy an Xbox without that risk of not being able to play with their mates.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's a shame, obviously. It's a real shame that they can't play together on this. But from a business standpoint, you can't really argue with the logic, can you? So it's just kind of the way it is until maybe, you know, they people keep theorizing this one console future, this one piece of hardware to rule them all. And you know, maybe next gen, well, this could well be there won't be another generation in a traditional sense. So maybe things will just evolve and change. And, you know, theoretically, you know, Sony and Microsoft are going to kind of balance out, aren't they, over the course of the next few years? You know, the console installations and stuff you know, it's only going to get more and more even, isn't it? So we shall see what happens. But in more Fortnite news, I almost feel like Fortnite was putting themselves in the news to get people talking about this game. Strange that they've decided to create a PlayerUnknown's sort of Battleground inspired generous sort of mode, which slightly upset the PlayerUnknown's Battleground developers Bluehole, who are now the #1 most popular multiplayer game on Steam. And the irony being, Bluehole's engine is Unreal, made by Epic, who make Fortnite. And you know, so there's not just this case of is this an homage? Is this inspired by? Are they doing a battle royale type game? Is it kind of the sort of implied dodginess is that because of that business connection, has there been documentation? Has there been communication in a business sense that is maybe now legally being infringed upon with Fortnite's development of a battle royale game that's really a lot like PlayerUnknown's Battleground, like incredibly similar, from the parachuting in to the way the games play out to the map design. They've even in marketing materials intoned PlayerUnknown's Battleground when they've talked about it. So I mean, it's a weird situation, isn't it, Joel?
It's what happens, isn't it? If somebody comes up with a good idea, and you've got to capitalize on your lead, because copycats will come along very quickly. DayZ always stands out as another recent example. That was a good original idea. It was exciting. People were playing it. It got some good traction. Then everybody was starting to release zombie survival sims and things. You know, as soon as they realize that there's a market for it, everyone just kind of jumps on it and tries to produce something. And it's not going to be any different with this. I just hope that PlayerUnknown can really, you know, the developer here, they can get this game to where they want it to be and help it keep its crown. But competition's good. It might inspire them to sort of put some new features in or try some things and spur them on. So it might help make actually, you know, Battlegrounds a better game itself anyway. So
I think I totally agree with you. And if it was any other developer, because we're going to see battle royale games.
There already are a few clones coming out anyway, so yeah.
There's millions coming. It's going to be in every multiplayer game. I would bet money that next year's Call of Duty will have a battle royale mode. That next year's Battlefield will have a battle royale mode. All the big AAA games will have that game in there. And you know, you can't copyright that concept. The battle royale concept of 1 versus 99 other players or 59 other players or whatever. That's, you know, a fairly simple multiplayer concept. There's no way you can control that. But the difficulty here comes from the relationship that Bluehole has with Epic in the background. That there could be copyright infringement that may go back further because of their relationship with them as their engine provider. And I feel like that's where it's very difficult for Bluehole, because they're like, well, you know, we don't like what you're doing here, but how much shade can we throw your way because of our relationship? Could we cost that relationship? And what's the legality of you using this stuff without having like written permission to be doing this thing that is so similar to what we've created? So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, I don't know how much this Epic is structured. Obviously, the engine department, the Unreal part of it, is their primary business. Making games is kind of a secondary thing for them now. They make so much revenue from licensing out their tech that's their real product, isn't it? Every now and again, they just showcase it themselves, don't they? With the occasional real.
They're owned by one of the massive Chinese developers. If it's not Tencent, it's someone like them who has a controlling stake in the company now. So it's all a bit dubious. But I mean, I haven't played Fortnite yet because guess what? Why would I pay for that thing, which will be free next year? And the Battle Royale mode, I think, is going to come out for free for anyone, even if you don't have base Fortnite before the end of the year. So I'd be curious to try that. However, I'm very excited to play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And in the other aspect of the news, which we haven't talked about yet, is now the most popular game on Steam, which is a huge achievement to dethrone the Valve games such as Dota and stuff like that, to have the most concurrent players.
It's insane. Don't forget, Dota's free. Yeah, that's what's in one of the things I was just like, that's nuts. Like, yeah, Dota's free. I can't believe they displaced it. So yeah, hats off to them. Fantastic. It's getting loads of, and the good thing is it's just lots of people talking about it that's getting everyone to jump in and give it a try. I love that kind of thing that happens, that word of mouth, viral spreading about, have you played this game? So yeah, good on
everyone. Everyone and their grandmother is streaming it. Like, everyone is streaming that. I watch 2 different regular weekly streams of that game, and I have not even played it yet myself. I'm very much looking forward to the Xbox One version, and I hope you guys, we all get in on that and try that out. I can't wait for that. It's going to be really, really good.
I want that chicken dinner.
Hopefully. Yeah, man, chicken dinner. It's all about chicken dinner. But yeah, that's kind of all the big news and topics I wanted to talk about this week, and we're going to jump into some games now. I guess I should start with my sports segment of the show. Who wants to hear about sports that Ben barely understands? Woo! It should be good.
And that's the end of our sports segment. So moving on.
So I've got 3 sports for you: American football, ice hockey, and basketball. What would you like first?
Ice hockey, because I quite liked NHL, the last one I played.
It's still that.
Is it the same thing?
Well, it's the one I've played least of at the moment. And I always equate it to like fast football. It has probably the simpler rule set compared to NBA and NHL. And you skate around, and you use your sticks, and you put the puck in the net, and you score a point. And then if you go backwards too far, it's offside. So you got to keep going forwards. If you pass it, it clears that out. And it's like, yeah, it's still that. I need to play some more though. I've been hearing a lot of very negative responses. This is, to many people, this is one of the worst iterations it's had on this current generation. It's not doing very well in their eyes, and it's not scoring particularly highly anywhere. Personally, I'm not got big problems with it because I probably don't understand the minutiae that well. So that should be an interesting review. What would you like to hear about next?
I don't know if you need to know the minutiae of ice hockey. I mean, the appeal of it to me was that it's essentially speedball on ice. And if you like speedball, then you're kind of going to like those games. It's even got the punching in that. So
yeah, I enjoy skating quite fast towards the bad guys that have the puck on the opposing team, and then body checking them into the wall and seeing if they get up again or not. That's quite enjoyable. I like getting the confrontations and having a little fist fight. That's quite funny. I like scoring the goals. Everything is very quick to the point where sometimes you can't even see what the puck is doing. Which I believe is like the real sport.
It does feel more video game than real sport. So
yes, it does. It lends itself well. The only problem is like it's quite clear from just looking at this package for NHL that compared to all the other big sports games this year, which have in-depth careers and big story modes and lots of ultimate team type mechanics, that this game feels quite bare bones. That there isn't that much in the way of modes and stuff in there. They've added this 3-on-3 mode, which I was like, this is the arcade version. I was like, well, dude, the game itself was already the arcade version of this.
Exactly.
Like, why do we need a 3-on-3 version? It doesn't make any fucking difference. Like, What are you talking about? This has less rules. Well, like what rules? I'm still fighting. I mean, the only way this could have like less rules if I got on there like on a motorbike with ice tires and I was just chopping people out with chainsaws. That's the only way you could make ice hockey more fucking violent. So I was just like, I was mystified. Like, why is this in here? But yeah, it's fine. I play as the Penguins because their jersey has a penguin on it, and I thought that's cool. That makes sense in ice hockey. I'll be a Penguin. Yeah, I don't know. They're Pittsburgh, I think, Penguins, and they're good. They're quite good. Good times. Yeah. What would you like to hear about next? American football or basketball?
Let's go basketball.
I'm on a roll. Let's go basketball. Bit of b-ball outside of the school. You know what I'm saying. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in the house. Right. Well, that's my basketball knowledge there from that song.
Is that racist? I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I grew up on that in the 90s. I think, so that was my exposure to black culture. I hope it was accurate. Because I live in Cambridge now, and it's very rare to see a black person around here. Joel can attest to that.
That's pretty racist. I think if a white man in Cambridge likes basketball, that is as racist as you can get, probably.
I didn't say I like basketball. I actually said I barely understand it. But there you go. That's fine. I understand the ball needs to go in a net, and if it goes in the net up close, it's 2 points. And if it goes in the net outside of the D, which is like the D shape on the court, it's 3 points. I understand that. I understand that you pass the ball around a lot and you can do dunks. I understand that my favorite basketball game was NBA Jam, and that the real sport isn't a lot like that.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot. They don't have huge heads. There's not a lot of flaming balls, and you don't usually get a dunk from halfway down the court.
Bill Clinton is not a popular player on the basketball field. Court.
Court, Richard.
Yeah, court.
It's definitely a court, not a basketball field. This isn't field hockey or something else with a field. This is basketball. Even I know that. I know a bit more about basketball. Yeah, sorry. I played some basketball in high school, though I'm really short. So I wasn't very good at that. Though I did enjoy throwing and bouncing the ball. I quite enjoyed that. I mean, yeah, this is a fine version of NBA 2K. The character models are great. The player stats and the realism of it it's there. I mean, the big controversy this year has come around this huge push towards virtual currency, or the VC system, which you would recognize, Richard, from the WWE games. It's the same thing, VC. But this they've really made it so every little thing in the game is tied into the VC system. So you got buying the card packs in their type of virtual team game, obvious use for it. Then you've got upgrading your player in your career modes. And your sort of team modes. You've got buying different hairstyles for your player in the main story mode. You've got every little thing is tied into VC, which would have been a problem for me if I hadn't been sent the £150 version of this game to review, which included about 200,000 VC. I can see why they sent press that, because I imagine if I was trying to review this game with 0 VC, I would have probably hit a wall really early, and like. The nature of it being that you're kind of like constantly reminded of how you can spend real money on microtransactions to buy VC. Yeah. And it's a little bit egregious, I have to say, this time around. Excuse me. The fact is you have to weigh it up, don't you? How much is your time worth? Do you want to spend hundreds of hours playing game after game after game in NBA? I.e., do you love the game that much to do that? Or do you want to spend $20 on a pack of VC to bump your player up so you can play at a higher level immediately, or open a bunch of packs to get the best team possible for your ultimate team analog? I can't remember what they call their ultimate team. I really can't in 2K, because I've been playing Madden games and FIFA and stuff like that, and that's what they call it, their ultimate team. So yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, I know how you guys feel about microtransactions. You're not fans. It's just where we're at, isn't it? I mean, that's AAA games now. Everything has them.
I guess, but when you attach them to kind of a fringe product like this, it is fringe, isn't it? Basketball.
No, NBA is massive, mate. This game is huge in the States. 2K sells a shit ton of these.
Yeah, the States. I mean, yeah, we are British.
That little colony, that little place across that big sea. We don't. Yeah, fuck them. They're nothing. Yeah,
it's not got some
crazy dude in charge.
You need to get over Brexit. That's not ours.
All right, okay, okay.
Yeah, but so on our little island, basketball's not a big deal. So I don't know. I kind of feel like I'd kind of be up for an NBA Jam style thing, but when it gets into that level of right, you've got to buy this and this and this and tune this and set this team up and get this manager in and blah blah blah. I can't be doing that. It's too deep.
Yeah, that's the franchise mode. However, I'm really enjoying the career story mode because it is the campiest, most self-aware, silly thing I've ever experienced. I mean, we'll talk about the Madden story in a bit because I really got into that long shot. But the NBA 2K one is just like, wow, you guys had some fun with this. You did not take this seriously in the slightest. The best bit for me was quite early on when you come back to your apartment after being at the Proving Grounds, which is this really strange, like 2K contrived basketball meetup that happens in a New York City style city. And it's like, you'll go and prove how good you are at basketball, which turns out not so much for me. But like, you go back to your apartment, at least I thought it was my apartment, right? And you're talking to your like wacky best friend, who's this fat Asian chick. Don't know why, but it's like, cool, diversity. And she's like, hey man, how'd it go at the tryouts? And you're like, dude, I'm by the way, I'm the super white guy basketballer. I don't sound like a super white guy basketballer. And I'm like, dude, it went really well. And then the camera pulls back and it's like, you have a basketball court in your apartment. And it's full sized. And I'm like, what fantasy place is this? Where you live on a basketball court? I mean, I get being into the sport, but that's like dedication that not even Michael Jordan fucking had. Surely. I mean, that's weird. But then there's this big open world and you kind of walk around the city a lot. And there's all these, you've got this crazy like manager guy, not manager, what do they call him? Agent. And he's really over the top and hilarious. And that's I'm really enjoying these stories in these sports games because they're so dumb. And they just lean into the sort of absurdity of this fantasy completely. And it's just like, well, if you fantasize about being a basketball player, you probably fantasize about being a really street basketball player. Yeah, you're going to talk the talk and walk the walk, and your nickname is DJ, and that's what they call you on the street because when you couldn't do well in basketball after high school, you became a DJ and you're cutting sweet beats, man. Like you're just the coolest motherfucker out there. Yeah, it's bizarre, but strangely enjoyable. Shame about all the microtransaction stuff, though. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
last one.
You've last one. That on me, but
American okay.
Probably best till last, right?
This is the best till last. This is the most complete package. This is kind of like I'd say EA probably divides up their resources between FIFA and Madden. FIFA is their massive international hit. Madden it's got an international appeal, but it's huge in the States. Obviously, that crazy place with Donald Trump in charge. And yeah, it's this year, first time story mode, long shot. We've got a creative team behind Friday Night Lights is involved. So there's people that know how to write, you know, heartland, American kind of kitsch, Americana. It's all in there. It's this crazy, stupid idea that you are this washed up QB, right? Quarterback who had a massive
I wouldn't have got that. Thank you for
no, okay. Would you really not have got that?
No.
Oh wow. Okay. Who had like a promising career in high school, and you know, he'd gone to college, got good college school, got good college football going on, and then it was going to be drafted, it was going to be massive, and then he dropped out, and his dad died, and he joined up the armed forces, and he's come back 3 years later, and he wants to pick up where he left off, and he can't get in. They don't want him. He's not a fit for the NFL, so he goes and joins a reality TV show. That's right. That's right. It's called Long Shot, the reality TV show. See what they did there? That's why it's called Long Shot.
Oh, right.
And basically, what it's all about is building up your profile to make you appealing to an NFL team to draft you, right? And that's kind of how the system works with the drafting thing with the NFL and stuff. And the cast of characters is hilarious. So you have this washed-up coach who got kicked out of his team for some, you know, dodgy, and he messed up a kid's career because he didn't look after him right, and because of that he's now on this crappy TV show. You've got the assistant producer who she believes in you. She wants to do the right thing, but she's being kept down by the executive producer, who is the slimiest, most asshole, most stereotypical scumbag, like New Yorker character that, or LA character, probably, I'm guessing. And he's just a scumbag, and he just wants to use you up and take you for what he can and make money out of you. And it's like, he's such a great villain. At one point, he's going around on a hoverboard, just being an asshole to the coach character. And
I hate this guy. He's such a douche.
He's such a douche. That's the word. And he's amazing. And your character's just like trying to persevere, and he's got his best friend with him, and they're gonna be okay, man. The two of them together, they're gonna make it. Like the American dream, man. And it's brilliant. And it's American Heartland. And it's like they're Texans, and it's, you care, and there's it's so hokey and yet so honest. And it's well written, and it's funny and stupid, and exactly what you'd want if you were like watching a CW show about American football or something, you know, that kind of tone, or like a Friday Night Lights, which I never watched as much as I wanted to, but I caught a few episodes. You know, clear heart, was it clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. That's the motto from Friday Night Lights, I believe, and it's all that, and it's daft, and there's hardly any football in it, which is the great thing. I mean, I played like I don't know, 4 quarters of football, like the first half of the story mode, and you get a bit more of it as it goes along because you get closer to the NFL and you finally join them and stuff like that. But early on, all the football's in flashbacks. Do you remember in your high school days? And it's so funny because you have these matches that you can't fail, right? Yeah. Because if you fail, the story can't continue. So there used to be these bits where I've missed like four interceptions. My QB skills are not good. That ball was get taken down 4 times. Right, I'm 4th down every time. Fucked it up, and you just get your character just goes like this. He takes a knee basically, and he just looks like he's beaten. And then he comes up on the screens. Do you want to continue? And you just have the option of hitting A for yes, because there's no option not to, because that would just end the game. It's just like, yes, I'll try it again. Maybe one of these will get caught. There's other bits in there, like they mix in like there's some memorization mini games where you have to remember calls that your coach is giving you, like Alpha 3, Sigma 2, Beta 7, down 6, up 39, 43 across, 22 7, and then it goes, now repeat all that in the right order, and I'm like, fuck off. I just get it wrong. And then there's the best bits are when he does like a trivia quiz about like how well do you, football IQ is this one of these elements they score you on, because you're making this like draft report the whole time for the draft, and it's like goes into this like document that they then look at and like stuff like that. It's football IQ. It goes, what position is this? And I just go, fuck yes, C, you know, safety, like that. And the coach will go, thought you would have got that one. He's just like, and then, so it's basically my poor TJ, his name, your character, something like that. Anyway, I might be wrong. It's been about 2 weeks since I played this now. But he's like, he's got a really good throwing arm, but when it comes to football, he's a fucking retard. Like he has never watched a game of football in his life. He's never paid attention in class about football. He's never listened to a single strategy meeting with his coach. He can just throw real good, and that's all he does. I feel quite bad for him. That is like, I'm the one controlling him. He deserves better than me, Richard. You know, it's a real shame. I'm the one control. I felt guilty, but yeah, I had a really good time with that story mode. It was really dumb. When I reviewed it, I only reviewed the story mode because I didn't feel like I could do justice to the rest of the package. So I just reviewed Long Shot, and I gave it 4 stars because I had a lot of fun. And I loved the evil producer character. I love hokey, over-the-top bad guys in TV shows like that, and he just nails it. The voice actor is just like the smarmiest douchebag ever, and he gets his comeuppance in a brilliant way, and it's all really entertaining and just really, really silly, and I really liked it. So, how about that? Have I sold you on Madden?
Yeah. That sounds fun.
Just being an idiot at football is amazing. It's like, it's not, at no point does it try to teach you how to play football. That's the problem. It's like, it doesn't teach you how to play American football at all, because what idiot would have bought this game that doesn't know how to play American football? Oh yeah, sorry, I'm reviewing it. I'm from England. I've seen maybe one game once.
It's kind of a mode for people that buy Madden year in, year out since God knows when, 1990.
I will say, out of those 3 games, I didn't mention it before, but NBA 2K has got the best onboarding for someone that doesn't know the sport that well. It has a really good integrated help system when you're playing the match, when you're playing an actual game of basketball. It's very clever about how it shows you. It actually shows you. NHL does it well as well, but Madden, from what I can tell, didn't do it at all. And it's just like, nah, mate, you don't know football, tough shit. Fuck you. So it's really, but I still had a good time. So you know. Yeah, totally the right person to be doing all these sports reviews, guys. Killing it. You
did well.
So, one of you guys want to talk for a bit? Because I'm losing my voice, so that'd be good. Richard, Richard's been playing a game from like 4 years ago. When did this come out?
Old. 2 years.
Three.
2. No,
3 years.
2015.
Is it 2015?
Yeah, definitely.
Nearly 3 years ago. Okay.
Well,
2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, in my defense, it's new to me because I fucking bought it and didn't play it. So, yeah, it feels fresh. I'm enjoying it. You finished it, right? You enjoyed it at the time. I think you reviewed it.
Yeah. I think it was my favorite. I liked it more than City. Definitely liked it more than City.
Hang on, have we even said what I'm playing? Batman Arkham Knight.
No.
It's what I'm playing.
We should have just done hints. We should have just done hints.
Oh yeah, much better than the Lego City game. I love that.
Yeah, so I'm playing the last of the Batman trilogy from whoever made it.
Rocksteady.
Yeah. And there are some classic bits in there. I thought that there was nothing that Batman could do to surprise me, but there are bits in this that I'm like laughing out loud at it, how inventive this is. It's really cool. So if anyone hasn't picked this up yet, it keeps coming out on sale at like 15 quid with the season pass and everything. And it's just so good. It still looks good. It's one of the best games looking on PS4 that I've played ever. I don't think it's been adapted for PS4 Pro at all, but just looks really cool. And just the amount of content in there. It's one of those really well-crafted open world games that just delivers stuff when you need it rather than laying it all out there like, we said it many times before. Ubisoft games will just spew out a load of shit onto the map. And there is a lot of stuff on the map, but you kind of don't need to look at that too much. You'll just chance upon stuff as you're driving around or flying around. And you'll just fancy having a crack at it, whether it's chasing a giant flying dude around the city or chasing stuff in cars or, there's loads of stuff to do. And it's all kind of interesting and it looks fantastic. And it's all really well acted with the Joker still in there as well as part of your psychosis because he's obviously dead. Spoilers. Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. So...
Does it still have that amazing combat that I just love from those games?
It's built on that because it's got Robin in there as well. So you've got double team elements and even more different options to choose from in combat if it wasn't sort of layered enough, because it did get a bit complex towards the end of each of those Batman games previously. But it just feels like it's logical. There's a sequence and a rhythm to all of it that if you just practice enough, you'll get it. And there's just more options in there now for like double team attacks and bits and bobs like that. It just always feels like you're on the edge of being amazing at it, and you always want to do a bit better.
I can barely remember it at this point. I mean, I liked the Arkham Knight himself. I really like his design. His reveal of who he is a bit obvious, but it was still quite enjoyable. I won't spoil it for you, Richard, unless you've already heard. I wonder, do you have it with the DLC?
I've got all the DLC, yeah.
Is it integrated into the game like from an earlier point, or is it all post sort of story?
It's filtered out depending on how much of the main campaign you've done. So there'll be bits that will say you can access this when you've done 66% of the campaign or something like that.
Okay, but, that's cool. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah. Because I think the biggest problem I had with the DLC was that it all came too late. I'd already kind of lost interest when the Villains DLC came out, and I'd already moved on to something else. But having it integrated into the game from the beginning would be really, really good. Actually, I imagine that would give some really good additional content as you go through it. But
yeah, I mean, there's as you know, there's loads in there anyway. But having that as part of the mix, And if you
as a completionist person, Richard, you'll be playing that for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
So go crazy. But no, interesting. That's the only game you put on your list for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's not because I've been absolutely kicking the ass out of Batman. It's more that I haven't been playing very much. So when I have had time, that's it. But there are other things that I would have liked to have played, such as Metroid that Joel has been playing.
Was that a skillful segue there? Am I now expected to talk?
I mean, that caught you off guard because it came from Richard and not me.
I know. I was very tactical. Yeah, I picked this up. I haven't played it as much as I wanted to. I haven't had. I've been sort of playing my 3DS at lunchtimes at work, trying to fit it in around me, which is one of the great things about those consoles. Yeah, so far it's I'm quite enjoying it so far. It's very much following the format of the original Game Boy game. So it's set after the first Metroid on the NES. You're traveling to this planet SR some number, I can't remember, and you're basically exterminating the Metroids. It's genocide, and you're the architect of it. So you're going there and you go through and you've got to find the Metroids and kill them, and that says 40 in total. And yeah, you sort of proceed into this underground caverns, a series of caverns. Certain points after you kill a certain number of Metroids, you can sort of trigger the water level to lower, and you proceed down further and further. Yeah, it's good so far. I'm enjoying it. The controls are slightly take a little bit of getting used to. You can now hold the shoulder button to get a more free aim, which is really actually very useful. You couldn't get that before. And obviously they've thrown in some extra new items as well. For example, I've already got the charge beam, which was never in the original Game Boy game as well. So it's sort of mixing some of the newer elements with some of the old. So yeah, I just want to see how it uncovers as I get through it, really. So I'll probably talk a bit more about it next time. Next time we're on.
That is SR388 for number fans.
There's that memorable number.
Oh yeah, classic number, guys. Whoa, how did you get that?
Someone out there has that as their license plate. As such as I reckon. I'll have to keep an eye peeled for it.
Speaking of numbers, on this, it seems really expensive for kind of a reskin of an old Game Boy game. It's 40 quid to download.
I bought it physically. It's not a reskin though. It's a complete rebuild. So I think they've just taken it's done by Mercury Stream. So the interesting thing about these guys, right, is they also have done the Castlevania games. So they're the only people in the entire world that have done Metroid and Vania. Now I bought the Castlevania game that they did. I can't remember what it's called on the 3DS, and I didn't actually enjoy it. It was like a after the Lord of Shadows one that they did on the Xbox, which was excellent.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They did a 3DS one, which I didn't really think much of. But yeah, they've done the Metroid one, and so far I'm quite enjoying it. So
it's the something of fate.
Well, I warned you guys earlier that I was going to get you back for being mean to me, and now I'm going to pay you back. Come on then, name and shame power levels in Destiny 2 right now, Joel.
I don't actually know.
That's
hold on. I will open the companion app on my phone and give you an accurate reading.
I've not played it since the first week, so I'm probably not beyond too.
You call yourselves, well, you might not call yourselves gamers anymore because that's not always the best term. But that's just unbelievable. Oh my god, guys!
272.
Oh,
it's not too bad, Joel.
That's
not too bad.
That's like raid level.
That's awesome. That's exactly. I've achieved what I need to achieve now because I've hit the wall with Destiny 2, much like I hit it with Destiny, which is Richard, where
I don't know if that plays. What does it say?
228.
228.
Yeah.
Oh, noobalicious. I'm a 28. I'm 285, I think now. So 282, 285, somewhere in there. 228 area.
It take long to get up from that, though, right? I mean, when you should get to 250s, 260s, I imagine it slows down. But
get to 260, it hits a cliff, really. Yeah.
So it slows down a lot at 265. Yeah, you shouldn't have any problems getting up to there, though. But yeah, okay. Let's revisit Destiny a little bit. I know if you guys listen to any other video game podcast in the world right now, you've probably heard of people talking about Destiny 2 to a point where you're sick of it almost, I'd imagine. But it is the biggest game right now, and it still is. I have also, I mean, I'm kind of where you're at, Joel, I think. I feel like there's less end game content in Destiny 2 maybe than in Destiny 1 because of the amount of sort of simplification and streamlining that's gone on to try and make things a little bit easier to understand. There's actually less to do and less of a challenge when you get to where we're at. I also find there's less impetus to do things.
They've made it less grindy.
But that's why you play the game, Richard. If there's nothing to grind, then why do it?
You say less grindy. See, I'm finding it now that I've got to this end point. Maybe it's just because it was a long time since I played the original one. But yeah, the problem I've got with it, I've reached a point now where I've got to a power level, which means I can do the raid, and I've got actually no interest in playing the game by myself anymore. I'm looking forward to grouping up, getting ready for a raid, and getting in there and seeing what it's all about and stuff, and working through those puzzles. But yeah, like I just got no interest in going back to just sit there farming public events or
I mean, there's the night, like nightfalls to do are quite fun, and it does give you this thing with the weekly milestones to try and spur you on to do things for the clan XP and do things for this and that and other stuff, And just a shout out, we do have a clan. It's Bxb'S Games. Come join us. You're all more than welcome. But I imagine I'll keep popping on. Like if there's people about that invite me and stuff, and we'll do the raid at some point. But I'm not like the last few days. I haven't been like booting it up just to poodle about in, like I was in the first couple of weeks. I mean, maybe the way I've hammered it is not really how most people play it. Maybe I feel like I've already wrung it out like for what I want from it. And I bought the deluxe edition, so I'm looking forward to the DLC that's coming in December. And then the stuff next year as well. And I'm going to keep an eye on it and see where it goes. But I'm not like super drawn into it right now. I still think it's very good though. I still really enjoyed it.
I think it's excellent. I'm not. You should definitely go out and buy it. I think there's loads in there. I've played so many hours to get to where I am, and I've enjoyed all of them. It's just just kind of hit the single player wall. I could grind further if I want to, but it's just I think past the point of just so much time you have to invest to just get so little further, it's just not worth it for me. I'm high enough to do what I want to do, and I'm not really interested in continuing.
You do get to that point, don't you, where you think, well, I might as well wait for more content to come out to get that next step up rather than ploughing 5 hours a night now.
One thing I'll be checking out,
I think work in 6 months time.
Next week, they're bringing back the factions. The faction rally is happening next week with Dead Orbit and New Monarchy and Future War Cult are all coming back. And there's going to be like a rally where you pledge your allegiance and go and do things for them and rep up for them. And I'll be getting back into Future War Cult. They're my boys. Always been a Future War Cult person. So I look forward to doing that. And every week I'll see what they're doing and stuff. And, they seem to be really embracing the live nature of it. And the fact that they can do little bits and bobs, and there was a bit of disappointment in the Destiny subreddit, for example, that the gear you get from the faction rep is just reskins of existing legendaries, which is a bit of a shame. It's not like anything's that special. It's just going to have like faction colors on it, which is basically just putting a shader on something, isn't it? Yeah. Talking of controversy, but I think that's a bit of a letdown, but I'm definitely going to be checking it out, keeping an eye on it. And I'll be up for that raid whenever Richard pulls his finger out of his butt and gets himself to a place where he can do it.
Well, you can take him. He'll just have to die all the time. And we can.
No, there are minimum entry levels, aren't there? Is it 2.6?
There is a minimum entry level, and
a recommended.
Also, you need everybody to be good. Everybody needs to be good enough because there are bits in the raid that everybody has to be.
I'll get up there. Don't worry. I will get on that.
Although you can, I read on Reddit, funnily enough, that you can solo all the loot from it, bar the boss. So,
yeah, you have to be pretty good to do that, I'd imagine, though. Jesus Christ.
Don't think it's too. It didn't sound like it's too difficult, but yeah.
Okay. Talking about things that aren't difficult, when you kind of want them to be a little bit more difficult, I played the Forza 7 demo, And I imagine, Richard, you'd like to have played that, but you've not had time. I'm going to
downloaded it eventually after several issues with the latest Xbox firmware, not allowing me to download anything. But I eventually got that downloaded and haven't had time to.
Still a clusterfuck, that thing, isn't it? The new OS. I mean, Jesus Christ, so many problems.
That's why I'm in the beta and not the alpha. I expected you to sort this out, Ben. So I'm blaming you.
I've been leaving lots of feedback. Trust me. There was a while there where none of my games or apps all ready to install list would populate for about 4 days, so I wasn't actually able to play anything. So you can just shut up about your complaints. So trust me, that was fun. So Forza 7 demo. And the reason I kind of segued into it the way I did was because it's a problem I've spoken about before, and it's one I imagine Joel can understand. But once you put a lot of time into a Formula 1 racing game, you play any other racing game, and it feels slow. So I'm playing Forza, and I just feel like I'm poodling around for a Sunday afternoon, even when I'm driving that brand new Porsche on the DreamBreak track with like 24 other races. I bump the difficulty up as basically the hardest setting, and I still find it kind of easy and kind of slow. So I mean, it looks amazing. Oh my god! And the handling is like so cool. Like the way on the Dubai track, when you go over the patches of desert and sand that have drifted across, you can feel the difference in handling and the grip on the track from the tires. And you've got the special triggers on the Xbox One controller, which really conveys that. And then there's another track at the Nürburgring where you're doing like a Le Mans type car. I don't know what type of cars they use, but like a GT car or something like that. And a fucking full-on storm happens. And it's like the weather comes in, it rolls in, it starts raining gradually, it builds into just like monsoon levels of water falling from the sky. And as the track evolves, the handling changes and the visibility changes. And then the rain recedes and you get this beautiful like sunset lighting effect that comes through the clouds with the dark overcast clouds with the sun's coming through and it's hitting the puddles on the track and reflecting up. And it's like, holy shit, what is this game going to look like in 4K with HDR? This already looks amazing on my 1S just on 1080p. It's going to be mind-blowing at 4K with all the bells and whistles on. Absolutely mind-blowing. And it's like, I can see why, the full game, did you hear about this? The full game is going to be 50 gig on a Blu-ray. I think they said it's another 50 gig to download, and that doesn't even include the 4K assets, which are probably going to be another 50 gigs. So you're looking at about 150 gig install. Yeah,
that's by far the biggest game I know of. I think the furthest we've gone so far is the Halo 5.
That's up to about 100, isn't it?
That's up to about 100. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, be prepared for your 1 terabyte drive in the X to be filled immediately. I'm already planning for it. When I buy my X, I will be buying a new external drive at the same time because there's no fucking point in not.
Yeah.
I'm still annoyed that they've only put a terabyte in there. I think that's completely bonkers, frankly.
That's crazy. 4K assets. Yeah, I mean that is particularly bad. But I've got a 4K drive now, so 4K, 4 terabyte.
4 terabytes. So yeah.
Oh, 4 terabyte. Okay. Yeah, I'll be looking at something like that, 3 or 4. But yeah, I mean, it's more Forza. It's never looked this pretty. The evolving weather on the tracks is just amazing. I mean, I prefer the Horizon franchise just because I'm a bit more of an arcadey racer. And for sim racing, I'll hit the F1 franchise. But it's out this week, guys. It's coming up next week. Like Forza, it's here already.
Wow.
As is Cuphead, by the way, next
Horizon,
week.
Then, because when Horizon 3 came out last year, that was like, wow.
It looks better. Now, the weather effects and the lighting is incredible. Like I said, even on a 1080p, I race in cockpit when I play motorsport. Specifically, I race out of cockpit in Horizon, but in motorsport, I race in cockpit, and just the visibility change from the rain, the driving rain coming down to the windshield. Your wipers speeding up to try and handle it like it would in a real car, but it's struggling. Obviously, you're traveling at speed as well, and you're trying to stay on the track, and trying to pass and trying to hold position and all this in these incredible. And you're just distracted. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm just gonna pull over and watch this. This is fantastic. And then the sun came out. I mean, the storm was good enough, but when the sun comes out, I was just like, fucking hell, man. Games look real good now. On top of it being an amazing simulation racer, just. there's the Porsche in Dubai, there's the GT car at the Nürburgring, and then there's a racing truck at some track, which was the third race you have in the demo. I was like, this is a weird choice. Like a big sort of like semi-truck cab, huge thing that goes up to, gets up to about 160 miles an hour on this quite small little racetrack. And I was like, this is very strange racing. I'm not sure I understand this as a concept.
Oh, come on, that's fun. I love those crazy kind of monster truck racing a car with a caravan on the back, kind of side leagues. You think I like seeing all of this get pulled into the game, because every now and again you want to do something a bit more fun and a bit less serious, don't you? The full-on sims can be a bit intense at sometimes.
Dude, it's still very serious. It's a proper series that actually happens. I think I forget what there's a name for it. It exists in reality, but and you know, they've all got the trucks have got their liveries on them and stuff like that. I just found it a bit like, oh, the handling shit, it doesn't go that fast, and it's like I didn't understand the appeal, but it's cool that there's something different in there. I'm looking forward to some of the classic cars they've got in there, and I'm definitely looking forward to like some of the really fast open wheel stuff. It'd be really interesting to see how they deal with their open wheel stuff. I think in an evolving track situation with weird weather and stuff on the Nürburgring, that could be really cool. So I hope they've got some good ones in there. But I haven't been paying that close attention to the car list, so I really don't know where they're up to. I know there's hundreds. There's always hundreds of cars. So, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to thrashing your drivatars, guys. Just so you know, that's my plan. Joel, let's talk about the Escapist 2. I tried to go to you on that last week. You hadn't actually played it, or 2 weeks ago. So I'm hoping now that there's a review up, you have played it.
Of course. So yeah, I really quite enjoyed this game, and you know, the review I've written is a little different to kind of the normal kind of content. I felt that just beyond a short tutorial, the game kind of there are many different levels, but the next stage it puts you in is in this prison. You sort of start to view the warden takes you in, he sort of talks you through a few points, puts you in your cell, and then off you go. You've got the sandbox of a prison. It's got named guards. It's got, you know, every character in it. It's actually like it plays a role. You can go talk to the other prisoners and things like this. And yeah, it's just up to you to then escape from prison. The game is kind of a simulation sandbox with the goal of escaping, basically. And yeah, there's just many different ways you could escape. I went for something, you know, first of all, I'm sort of, you know, just trying to find my feet in the prison. First few days, I don't want to pee anyone off. I don't want to get victimized. I don't want to get involved with the wrong gang or anything like that. So I just play it cool, sensible. I attend everything I need to do. I don't want to raise any suspicion with the guards. And then after that, I start thinking, like, how am I going to get out of here? How am I going to get out of here? And so I plot my elaborate escape. There's this little camera crew that are going around filming some documentary, and I'm just like, yep, that's my way out of here. You know, I'm going to corner one of them, or you know, find where they go during the day. I'm going to tail them, work out where they are. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to beat him to death with some soap in a sock. Going to nick his clothes, his camera, and I'm going to waltz out of here with a camera team. It's going to be fantastic. So my elaborate plan kind of starts off that way. I start sort of getting the materials and crafting up some really crappy scissors and bolt cuts and things like that, so I can start cutting through air vents and making my own way through the prison. And then I don't want to get caught because I'm going to do this all in one day, so I make some paper mache and I make fake air vent covers so I can cover the vents up afterwards, and slowly making my path out this prison. Path to this like AV room where all the camera team hang out most of the day and stuff. And you know, nighttime comes, I sort of crawl through all the vents and I get in there and things, and then realize that you can't actually interact with the like civilian characters in this game. So that was kind of like completely defeated my plan. But anyway, I managed to find like some civilian clothes in the drawer in there. So I was like, yep, this will do. I'll wear these and I'll walk out the front door in the morning. But what I didn't realize is that like, the game's very trial and error. Like you think things might work and you try it, and then you figure out what the problems are and what you did wrong and stuff. Like, yeah, in this case, like I accidentally equipped the outfit. I didn't put it in my inventory for later, so I didn't actually realize I was walking around in this civilian costume. So I was standing at the morning roll call, and like I sort of you have this sort of suspicion meter, I guess you could call it, like how suspicious the guards are of you, and it's just climbing up, and I'm just sitting there going, the hell's going on? I'm not doing anything. I'm at roll call. I'm just like, I have been every morning. And then, yeah, suddenly realized that my costume looks different, and realized what happened. And And so then, yeah, it kind of, I tried so many different things. My goal, I just wanted to do a really cool, awesome prison breakout. I wanted it to be like Shawshank Redemption levels of awesomeness, sort of. But yeah, in the end of trying so many elaborate things, I just kept trying simpler and simpler things until literally I just like walked out in the middle of the day, hid behind a bush, and then like cut the fence at night and made it out. And yeah, it was a genuine. So that was like 4 hours. I was playing this just one scenario for 4 hours, and it was genuinely really cool. Like I really enjoyed it. I had so many fail. You know, I even tried just running out the front door to see what happened. Like I got attacked and beaten by the guards and dogs and stuff. I tried to beat up a guard to nick his key, which I did. But then they send the dogs out, and the dogs get you. So you can clone keys. So you can, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get the key off the guard. You're supposed to clone it, and then either give it back to the guard, or maybe you can go plant it in someone else's cell and watch the guards come down and beat the crap out of them. And it's really cool. You can interact with the other prisoners. You can buy stuff off them. You can do jobs for them. So there is sort of this structure to all the characters in the game, the prisoners, like who they like, who they don't like, and things like this. So you can get friendly with some, which makes you less friendly with others. And then when you're friendly with people, they'll sell stuff to you. And yeah, there's a lot of depth to this kind of simulation, but ultimately there's this freedom for you to try and find your own way out of prison. Now, not every level's like that. Some of them are a bit more. The second level I played was on a train, like a prison transport train. You just had to escape from it. That was very much just stealthily ignore the guards, and there were only really like 2 options to escape. So they're a bit more linear and sort of restrictive compared to the others. But the sort of more freedom style levels I found really quite fun. And the one I'm currently trying is a prison on an oil rig. So I'm guessing I've got to fashion like a boat out of raincoats, or I've got to make some scuba gear out of I don't know what. So yeah, it's genuinely really fun. It's got multiplayer mode as well. I didn't try it, but I can imagine that it could be really, like, if you've got some friends to play with and you've got to try and escape together, that could be really good fun. I can imagine you could easily like lose an afternoon on the couch or on live with someone over that. I genuinely thought it was really good. I've never played the first one, so I have no idea of what they really did between the first and second. I know multiplayer is definitely one of the new additions, but I don't know what other subtle refinements they made. But yeah, it's really, really good. I quite liked it.
That's cool, man. That does sound really interesting. I didn't get on. I didn't play Escapists, but I think they gave it away as games with gold at one point. I did, however, have to review the Escapists, The Walking Dead, which I really didn't get on with because I didn't find the combination of that license with the concept engaging in the slightest. I found it really fucking like unnecessary, and it just didn't work as a zombie game, but it also didn't work as like an escape game. So it was
even from that. I've never even heard of that, and I'm struggling just to even see how that would work based on what I've played.
However, what you've just described with the Escapists too, it sounds like the game is kind of where it sort of always should have been, almost. Like, it sounds refined. It sounds like the multiplayer thing sounds really cool, actually. Trying to escape from prison with other people, where you're working on like different like parts of the plan, and then you've got to all come together and coordinate, and that sounds like a shit ton of fun, actually. That sounds really cool. That does sound like a cool way of playing it. I'd be very curious to try that, actually. I might actually pick it up so we can give it a go, just because that could be a really fun experience.
Yeah, I was trying to persuade Mark to pick it up.
How many multiplayer is it? How many people?
Pass, I don't know.
Because it was like
I think 4. You may be able to. It looks like it could cope with up to 4 in some of the bigger levels, for example, even maybe more. Cool. So we can all dig one fucking huge tunnel together. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, that sounds really
well,
cool.
Actually, you could dig it for us. We'll just just hang in a prison during the day.
Sweet. Just shivving people for fun.
Ransacking other people's cells to get some more toilet rolling.
We need to come up with a cool gang name for our prison gang, Joel. That's really important that we have a gang name.
The BXB Games Gang.
Yeah, we ain't going to be bitches or nothing with that name. God, you can work harder than that. Jesus Christ. We're white collar criminals. We're in for embezzlement in this Supermax. There was a mistake. We're dead. We're dead. Right. I've got a couple of games I wanted to finish off with. One of them I carved out some time to play. It wasn't for a review, but I was really, really excited. I bought this DLC / expansion for XCOM 2, and it's called War of the Chosen. And I already loved XCOM 2. I had a glowing review for that when it came out last year. And this expansion, I should say, came out on consoles last year. And this expansion is, wow, holy shit, there's a lot in this. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. And this game already had a bewildering cornucopia of things that were being thrown at you when you're trying to get through the campaign. It was just constant terror and alien invasions and abductions and side missions, and it's a much more complicated game than Enemy Unknown was. And goddamn, XCOM 2 is good though, and War of the Chosen is fucking brilliant. It adds this kind of like almost like the Shadow of War or Middle Earth. What was the previous game called with the Nemesis system?
Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor, thank you. Almost like that with the Nemesis characters. That it gives you these 3 named enemy characters that have traits that evolve, that change, that hunt you, and they are relentless and terrifying and awesome. Obviously, on top of that, I've just got I've been playing it. I've played it for about 5 or 6 hours since I got the DLC for it in the expansion. And this is just one of those games that just creates stories. You really have a bond with your soldiers. The characters start to come through, and that's just been sort of brought to the fore even more with War of the Chosen, where these things they create bonds between characters now, where it's like 2 characters will get to know each other in battle, they'll become friends, they end up like working with each other better, they give each other like abilities and traits that they can then share, and it's just a fantastically engaging game. I mean, it's stressful, but it's a good kind of stress you want to do because you want to run home. Boys and girls back from the front. You're fighting your noble cause. You are fighting as the resistance against this alien menace that have taken over the planet. Taken over the planet, man. And, you've got these new factions that have been brought in with War of the Chosen as well. So you've got these Reapers and the Templars. And there's another one I can't remember, which gives you so you've got psionic powers. And you've got one group of the faction are the Advent, these alien soldiers that have turned against their own kind. And they're hunting their own kind. And they're now helping you fight the aliens, and they're just brilliant. There's so much coolness in this game, and it's like the amount they've added in this expansion. It feels like it'd be enough for a whole new game, and it makes me worried that there probably won't be a whole new game now because they put so many new ideas and refinements, and they're just blown out XCOM 2. It's just massive the amount of stuff you can do in this. So many modifiers, so much more tech in there, so much more story in there. It's the perfect XCOM. I know Adam, who used to contribute to the site and will hopefully come back soon. He was a massive XCOM 2 fan on PC, and I hope to God he's playing this or picks up War of the Chosen soon on Xbox or whatever, because it is fabulous. Fabulous. Did anybody want to ask me anything about XCOM 2 War of the Chosen? No, you're all losers.
You kind of made me feel sad that Adam's not around to talk to you about it.
I'm a bit sad.
He's coming back. He said he's coming back soon. So.
I hope he comes back soon as well. I know he's been a busy boy, and fingers crossed he'll be back to give us some more entertaining video reviews and to get back on the podcast. I do miss him. One more last thing then. One last game I want to throw a quick shout out to, which I reviewed. I can't remember. Last week, maybe? Week before, possibly? It's been busy times. Tricky Towers finally showed up on Xbox One after about a year on PS4, and it was actually given away for free on PS4 as part of PlayStation Plus. But sadly, that didn't happen this time around on Xbox One. Now, this has got a great, simple concept. Tricky Towers, you use tetraminos, so Tetris blocks, to build towers. Rather than say, you're trying to create Tetris and make lines disappear. With this, you are trying to build. You are trying to either build under like a cut-off line. So there's a cut-off line. You have to stay under the line, so you have to be very efficient with your building. You are doing that, or you're trying to do endless mode, so you just as high as you can go, or you're trying to do a speed mode, where you're trying to pass the finish line before your opponent does with building. So like a bit more rickety, but you're going for height rather than stability. And on top of that, you've got there's positive and negative modifiers, because this game is kind of like always a multiplayer game, even in the single player. You'll be going up against the AI. But really, the beauty of this game is so good in couch co-op, or couch adversarial, I should say. Because when you're sat there next to somebody, like I was with my wife, and we're like, screwing each other over, giving each other negative powers, like where you get giant blocks, or it obfuscates the screen, or all kinds of crazy modifiers, or you're giving yourself positive modifiers by like locking blocks in place. and stuff like that. I don't. Have you guys come across Tricky Towers at all? Because this game is awesome. Like, it's so much fun. Such a pure, simple experience.
I'm sure
I had
a
very similar game.
Plus, I do have it. So I've not played it.
It's just like, why is this? How did nobody ever come up with this before? It's just maybe somebody did, but it didn't get the exposure that this got, because it just feels like a great idea.
I played a game like this on my iPhone about 6 or 7 years ago, which was literally just stacking the blocks up, except rather than just Tetronomes, it also had weird triangle shapes, so you could end up with these. You have to sort of really balance these towers as you got them higher and higher, and you had to get it past a goal line every time. It was really good fun.
It could have been the beginning.
I can't remember what that was called though.
Yeah, it feels like a game that could have developed from an iOS concept and been broadened out into a multiplayer concept, which is what we've got with this. It has Xbox Live support as well, so you can play it online. I just really love this game. I love indie games with simple concepts executed well. You know, it's got a really appealing art style. It's got great music. It's the kind of game where I sat down with the wife. I didn't tell her what she was going to be playing. I didn't explain it to her. And I said, look, we're going to play this in multiplayer. And she got, after one game, she got it. She knew what she was doing. She understood how it worked. And she was beating me, like pretty much, it was even. We were going back and forth. It's that kind of game. And it's just, I would love to play it in 4-player with like a full room full of people, maybe like, like a winner stays on type tournament or that sort of thing. It'd be just so much fun to do that. And it's just really good. I want to mention one bad thing. Now, I played this on my OG Xbox One with an internal drive, and I played it on my Xbox One S on the external drive. On the internal one, I've actually been chatting to the developer about this. I had weird sort of hitching issues where on the original Xbox, where this is a game which requires obviously a lot of timing, a lot of accuracy, and it would hitch. Like the blocks would be coming out and just pause, and then for a moment, but enough to throw you off if you're in the middle of a rotation or if you're trying to drop something quickly, enough to ruin a game for you. And it would happen pretty consistently as well, and continuously throughout a game. However, on my Xbox One S, on the external drive, I didn't have any of those problems, and I couldn't replicate the error at all. So I got in touch with developers, and I sent them video of it and stuff. Hopefully, at this point, I haven't tried it in the last few days since patches have come out and stuff, but hopefully they fixed that. But it's worth mentioning because if it was a real detriment to my experience on my original Xbox. But indie game development as it is now, patches can come out very quickly, and fingers crossed that'll get sorted out. I still really enjoyed it. Like, it's so much fun. My God, it's such a great concept. So well done. Yeah, they're my favorite games like that. So, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, lots of games coming up this week. We've got FIFA. We've got Cuphead, we've got Forza. It's all going on, guys. And then just a little ahead of that, we've got Shadows of War. We've got, what else is coming out? Oh my God, Battlefront 2. We've got so many games.
What?
I'm losing track.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I was thinking
Battlefield 2.
Battlefield 2, my mind was saying. But...
Call of Duty World War 2. That's coming out. I'm looking forward to that. I watched the story trailer for that. Did you see it, guys? Looks all right. No.
No, not watched the trailer yet. No.
Cool. That's fair.
Mario
Odyssey.
Yeah.
That's next month, isn't it? Shit, that's next month. I think that comes out on the same day as like Shadow of War or something, possibly. Or what other games are there in October? There's a slew of them, isn't there? So it's just it's looking wild.
It's a busy time of year, isn't it? Busy quarter.
It is the Christmas season of games, as we have every year. And then, of course, November the 7th, the Xbox One X. How are you guys feeling? You still excited? You still hyped? I'm pretty hyped for that, I have to say. I'm looking forward to it.
Hyped and anxious about whether I will or will not have a TV by then.
Oh, a TV. I was going to say, I thought for a second you were going to say you were on the fence about a Microsoft product, and then I'm like, nah, don't be silly. It's Richard. He always buys them.
Of course, I'm getting the console. Yeah, it's just the TV is the issue. So since we last spoke, actually, I did go and buy a new AV receiver.
Oh, fancy.
So that's 500 quid down. So now I can't afford a TV.
An AV receiver.
He's getting there step by step.
Which AV receiver cost you? I mean, what I haven't bought one of them in many years. How much? What was that? Was it good? Is that a good one?
I think it's good. Yeah, well, it was one of the Sony ones that does 4K HDR and Dolby Atmos. So
this was off the back of me telling you about the pass-through problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
suddenly realised my old receiver is just a 1080p one, and it's a good one, but I kind of need a new one for a new TV, so that's out of the way now. And
Jolly
it does
good.
cost as well, so I'm trying to convince the wife we need in-ceiling speakers.
Good luck with that.
We'll see.
So like actual structural work required. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. More power to you if you can work the magic on that one. Jesus.
Yeah, I've got it. I'm still excited about it. The only dilemma I'm having is if I want to cancel my Project Scorpio edition just to get the standard one, because I'm not too, the Project Scorpio green text on it. Yeah, I'm not really feeling it.
You're one of those people. My God, like I saw this online. It's just like, really? Why would you care? Like, I
just like clean, understated looks, I guess, as opposed to sort of.
I know what you mean.
Go faster stickers.
But your Project Scorpio edition will be worth more. Like,
well, I never get rid of my games consoles. They just, I'll probably get one day I'll die when my shelf collapses. I get crushed under the weight of years of games consoles. So,
well, you better hurry because they seem to be running low or run out some places.
I don't think you get the stand.
Yeah, just miss out on the vertical stand, don't you? So, but
that is correct.
Yeah, that's my dilemma.
I like the gradient change on the One X. I like how the colorization of it changes.
I quite like that. I could live without the Project Scorpio branding.
I kind of like that though, because that's kind of like a callback to the name we referred to it as for so long, and it's like that's kind of a nice acknowledgement of that branding, and I kind of like that. I prefer Project Scorpio over One X anyway as a name. The bit I don't like is I don't like how the text is on the controller. I'm not a fan of that. But
so I won't use that anyway, though. Presumably, because you've got an Elite.
Well, I've stopped using my Elite.
What? The what?
Because the rubber has starting to fall off the handle, which is frustrating. Yeah. I'm having that problem, which a lot of people suffer from, where the rubber grips on the base of the controller is starting to just come away. Right? And it seems to happen to a lot of people. Yeah. Quite a common issue, but well outside of warranty at this point. So a bit annoying. So I've kind of stopped using it out of protest, and I'm on my 1S controller. Yeah. So keep an eye on that, Rich.
I'll have to.
Yes.
I've not experienced that because I'm cycling between my two. I've got two Elites.
Two Elite controllers. Fucking hell, man. Two. Why would? You got one with your Gears of War console.
Gears one as well.
Yeah. Two of them. Jesus Christ! I thought one was excessive. I love it. You have two.
Technically, you're an elitist, I guess.
Oh dear, Joel.
I tried.
That was pretty terrible. So, if you've been enjoying this podcast, please head over to iTunes, rate and review us. It really helps with visibility. We are obviously Bxb Games on there. We're also Bxb Games on Facebook. We're Bxb Games on Twitter. I am at DIYE on Twitter. And Richard is at Colonel Red on Twitter. So please head over to all these wonderful places and get in touch with us. Because, are you interested in video games? Do you have an opinion about video games? Do you think maybe you could write about them or do a video about them? Trust me, if I can do a video, you can do a video. Literally, you can do a video. You can. So get in touch on Twitter and Facebook if you'd like to join the Bxb family. For we are only 3 people strong right now, and that would be me, Joel, and some other guy who's not here because Richard doesn't really do much. So yeah, that would be lovely if you guys could get in touch. There will be games. Maybe you could be the lucky person to review the Lego Ninjago movie video game for this October. This could be yours. If you join us to review. I'm just proving we do get games to review. This is one of them. So that could be yours if you feel you are up to it. Do you have the abilities? So yeah, send us a message on Facebook, send us a message on Twitter. Get in contact through the comment section of the website. There are many ways. So yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of our show. And then we're back in a couple of weeks. I might be back next week. I'm off for the weekend. Maybe I'll do a bonus babble if there's stuff to talk about and I'm not too busy just playing games for review. We'll see what happens with that in the future. Any final words from my compatriots?
Just it's nice to see both, and
Oh.
Glad that I did this.
See, there's life outside of work, Rich.
Yeah.
There is a small light shining, and it's called video games, and it's called.
It's a shame you just reminded me of work, actually, because I had forgotten about it.
Bringing him back to reality, bringing him back down to earth, pulling him out of the clouds. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to ground people with the horribleness of, nuclear war with North Korea, Brexit, horrible social strife, all these hurricanes and earthquakes and natural disasters. You feeling more grounded, Richard? You're okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
You need some rope.
And on that happy note, we shall end the show. Fuck you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.